take a couple of questions. AP man.
President, thank you. You've been gathering advice, as you said, from leaders here and from leaders in Iraq. As you've gone through that extensive process, have you heard any new ideas at all? Anything that would change your thinking?
I've heard some ideas that would lead to defeat, and I reject those ideas. Ideas such as leaving before the job is done. Ideas such as not helping this government take the necessary and hard steps to be able to do its job. I've heard interesting ideas. I won't share them with you because I want to make sure I continue to collect those ideas.
Oh, come on. How do you not love this guy, man? I mean, Jesus Christ, what do we got in the Oval Office? This is why people, we're going to have John Nichols of the Nation on later talking about impeachment. This is why people talk about impeachment. How do we have this guy running the country, let alone pretty much running the world? I got a lot of interesting ideas. I'm not going to share them with you.
He's so dumb that I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that things aren't worse even than they are.
First
He's
of all,
that incompetent and ignorant.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm going to refer to him
worse.
as President Man from now on.
Yeah.
See, the other problem with President Man, let's go back even before he says, I'm not going to tell you these ideas. This is the classic Republican ploy, which is to create these straw man arguments that we got to start calling them. Well, somebody said, well, let's leave before the job is done. Well, you know what? Whenever a Republican says that from now on, I want a name and I want a precise quote. Who said, quote, unquote, leave before the job is done?
I want to know who the they are.
And
Who's
not
this
helping.
mysterious they that they always talk about.
Let's not help the government in Iraq. I want to know who was it said, Mr. President, I have an idea. Let's not help the government in Iraq. I want to know who that was.
See, RJ, that's the one that stood out to me, where he said, I've been listening to some ideas, and one of the ideas is to not help this Iraqi government. Really? Who came up with that idea?
Right.
I mean, like, that one he has to be absolutely questioned on. The very next question should have been, hold on, the very next question should have been, Mr. President, could you name the person who said, let's not help the Iraqi government? And so we know, because that seems like a pretty bad idea.
Right.
We'd like to know who came up with that bad idea so we don't listen to that.
But do you know who says that? Conservative hosts. Like Bill O'Reilly. Let them just fight it out themselves. Let's just get out of it. We don't need to help them. Why are we helping them? Let them just kill each other. Civil war, blah, blah, blah. I mean, Hannity, Bill O'Reilly, these people say things like that. John Ziegler, I mean, I don't know if they've actually said those words, but they imply that why do we need to help the Iraqis anymore? They just want to butcher each other. Let's just get out.
You know what, Jill, that's a great point. Dave,
That is a great point.
I don't know if you can find it in this today's show, but we ran an old clip about a week ago, maybe, of O'Reilly going on and saying, Sunni shites, what do I give a damn? Let them kill each other. Right?
Yeah, and after that, let him go to San Francisco, because that was O'Reilly's other quote. Let Al-Qaeda blow up San Francisco.
Right.
Yeah.
So the only person who, as far as I know, that I've ever heard says, I don't want to help the Iraqi government, let them kill each other, is I heard Bill O'Reilly say it. I've never heard the Iraq Study Group say it. I've never heard any liberals say it. I've never heard any Democrats say it. So, but we know what he's getting at. And what he's getting at is, I am not going to listen to the Iraq Study Group. I am not going to withdraw. I'm not going to do anything different. In fact, if I do anything different, it'll be to add troops and make the situation worse.
Which is
that
also
was
John McCain.
loud and clear from that clip. He said, I've been listening to some ideas. Some people, want to leave before the job is done. I'm not going to do that. That means until 2009, when he leaves office, we are not withdrawing.
Absolutely. And that, by the way, John McCain wants to add more troops, too. So, that's getting to be the conventional wisdom.
John Amato at Crooks and Liars, and probably other people do it, too. I go to that site more often. It calls it the McCain-Lieberman war now.
Oh, he's right. No, absolutely right, yeah. And to put more people in with no description of what it is they're actually going to accomplish once they get there.
I mean, we talked about this on the show yesterday, and then I wrote a little bit about it yesterday as well. What's the military victory? I mean, what are the troops? And I'm talking about the troops.
Absolutely.
And I want to take calls on this. 866-303-2270, 866-303-2270. What are the troops doing there? Now, don't tell me about a political victory, because right now the mantra that they use, their new talking point is, we want an Iraq that can sustain itself, govern itself, and defend itself. First of all, if that was our objective all along, we invaded a country to make sure it could defend itself?
Right.
Oh, come on! Come on, who's that stupid that would believe that? All right, but let's give it to them. Let's say, okay, now you really invaded Iraq so that it could govern itself, sustain itself, and defend itself, which would seem rather counterintuitive.
Which it was doing at that point, by the way.
And of course. So let's take it at face value that that's what you want to do. That's a political solution. What are the troops doing there? Like, what land do you want them to take?
Exactly.
You know, what hill do they need to conquer? What mission do they have? Who do they need to kill? Are they supposed to defeat the Iraqis or help the Iraqis? What is their military mission? Not a person in America can answer that question, because that question is unanswerable.
And I think we need to require, whenever somebody says, let's not leave until the job is done, describe what the job is. Exactly that. Number one, describe what military victories need to occur and how you think they're going to occur. And number two, when you talk about training, how are you going to guarantee that the people you're training are not going to fight with the insurgents, which is something that's a real concern right now. So what are you going to accomplish? How are you going to know when you accomplished it? Because remember, not only are they talking about adding more troops, but McCain and Lieberman and Bush are also talking about never negotiating. So if you're adding more troops and you're not negotiating and you can't define victory, there's only one other option left, and that's defeat. So how are you going to avoid defeat is the question.